Starting a YouTube channel can be a very daunting task because you're putting your entire identity out there, and the internet is a place that's really full of unnecessary hatred and vitriol. So when I started this channel, I was fully prepared to get misogynistic comments like, "Stop making a Game Boy and make me a sandwich instead," or lesbophobic, homophobic comments like, you just haven't met the right man yet and that man is me. But I'm your cool Uncle Marissa, and I will never be a man. If you haven't gathered or haven't heard by now or seen them, I get a ton of transphobic comments on my channel, which is very strange as a cis woman, and I have tried to wrap my mind around it, and it all really comes down to the absolute transphobic morons on the internet are just dumb. They're just dumb. Because, like the other day, someone called my gender twisted. I've had people be like, I don't like this trans trash coming up on my YouTube Explore page. And my first question is I wonder, do they think that I'm a trans man or a trans woman? Because I feel like if I was a man, I maybe be trying to do a bit more than referring to myself as a woman in many of my videos. And if I'm a trans woman, I feel like I should have picked a better name than Marissa, but I don't know. They're open-minded in that aspect, I guess. I know one thing that a lot of them fixate on, and I think leads them to the conclusion that I'm a trans person, is the name of my channel, Your Cool Uncle Marissa. And because these people do not have the capacity to think even a single thought that hasn't been spoon-fed to them by the absolute wretched depths of the hateful internet, they take that at face value, so they get very upset that I'm calling myself an uncle when in fact I am not their uncle, and it wouldn't really make sense for me to be an uncle given that I'm a woman. And so they assume that I must be a man, and I'm trying to push myself into their family to become their uncle, and I assume that they really love their uncle, so they're like, "You can't replace my uncle, you'll never be my uncle, heck, you're never gonna be a man."
I don't want to be a man! You think I want to be a man?
I would love the privileges of a man, but I do not want to be a man. I think if someone was like, "You will get the privileges of a cis man magically if we turn you into a man," even then I would probably go down the list and be like, "Hey, could you do something magical about generational wealth or something instead? Class, got a few things I'd like to magically transform other than becoming a man." But it's just so fascinating to me how absolutely shallow these people are. But then I have to remember these are the same people who get mad at video games because they're like, "I don't want to choose my body type. That's woke. I'm either a man or a woman, and I need the game to tell me which one I am, because otherwise I don't know. I don't know who I am. Please, Daddy Miyamoto, tell me, am I a man?" I feel like these are the people who are experiencing gender dysphoria, and they're projecting it onto some stranger on the internet. You need some confirmation that you're a man. So you're stressed out when anyone says anything that might, make you think that they're not cis. Is that I literally I cannot understand it. And if it's just the channel name, that's also kind of funny because I imagine these people going on to Papa Meat's channel, huge YouTuber, millions of subscribers. They go on and they're like, "You're not my papa. You don't even have children. You will never be a papa. Unsubscribed. Also, you're not just meat. You also have bones and other things." I really hope they do that. I hope that their lack of reading comprehension and just sanity is. And like at the same time, it's like I don't know what to say because I don't take being called trans an insult, but it's like if people came onto my channel and they were like, I hate creators who are Finnish, I'm not watching your videos. Like I don't want to make a big deal out of it, like I'm not Finnish, but it's kind of more just like where'd you get that, bro? Like I think it's kind of messed up that you don't like Finnish people, but okay. Thanks for stopping by. But of course, the comments do affect me because they're hateful comments and they make me quite angry that there is such a desire to just find anyone who could possibly be trans and just spew just terrible things at them. And do you not have anything better to do with your life or your day? And when it comes to that, ultimately, I'm like, if they are leaving transphobic comments for me as opposed to an actual trans person's account, then in a way I'm happy to be that decoy. You know, like sure, hate the Finns at me, like instead of at the Finnish people. I don't know, I'll take it because, you know, I don't like the principle of it, but it doesn't affect me personally as much, and I have the ability to delete your comment, block you from the channel, and that way any of my viewers who might be affected by that are not going to see your comment and have their day be a little messed up. So I guess I'll take that. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's this newest like QAnon type boomer, you know, the same vein of people conspiracy theory that all these people in Hollywood are trans. Like they're like Megan Fox was born a man, Taylor Swift was born a man, like all of these really objectively attractive women and men who are being like accused of being trans. And it's so funny to me because like they're not, but if they were, like what is the end game here? Like wild. Transphobes are very wild, and it's also, I think, a little bit more wild to me because I grew up around people and cultures who kind of were more accepting of being trans than of being gay, and in fact just assumed that like gay people want to transition. And that comes from like cultures where as long as everyone's heteronormative and there's the like male role and female role filled, then we're good. You know, even my own mom was like, when she was trying to reconcile with me at one point, just kept bringing up like, oh, I watched this movie about this trans man and I understand. And I'm just like, I don't want to be a man. So it's kind of wild to see. I mean, not to say that in like American, British, etc. cultures, like that heteronormativity is not a thing. People tend to even support queer couples more when there's a very clear like masculine and feminine, and you know, it's a whole discourse. But anyway, it's just very, very odd, and I wanted to talk about it to like vent and kind of, I mean, put the spotlight on the fact that there are some shockingly stupid people in this world. I mean, the joke always is, right? Like I can always tell, we can always tell crowd, and they go around accusing cis people of being trans. But I mean, in terms of the actual name of my channel, it has nothing to do with gender. Why would it? The only person who ever asked me, like with confusion about why is it uncle, shouldn't it be aunt, who is valid, is someone who English is their second language. And they were like, I thought that was it. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to like confuse you. But if English is your first language and you're asking that question, then you have no sense of comedy, of like memes, of like literally anything. Like this is, forget gender, forget any understanding of gender and sexuality. You just like do not speak English fluently enough to understand any nuance. But anyway, in terms of the channel name, if you are curious, it didn't come from any one place. Like I knew I wanted to make this channel after like being in modding for a few years at that point. And I didn't just want to be like, Marissa, because it's like, who's Marissa? What's the channel about? Like, And it was really hard to come up with something because if you see my channel, I have like a range, like sure, it all falls under tech and like nerdy stuff, but you know, Marissa's mods, like, and I was just trying to think of like cute symbols and cute things, and I thought of one of my favorite little like side characters is Small Uncle from Craig of the Creek. And like, please, Cartoon Network, make a plushie of Small Uncle. I would buy it so fast. And it's so cute, and it's like a little like educational show within the show.
It's time we say goodbye too, huh, Small Uncle? Oh, but Miss Heine, Kim, just after one more song. Okay, Small Uncle, one more song.
I love you, Small Uncle. I love you forever. Don't forget.
And I was like, oh yeah, like Small Uncle. So what if like I can do something like that, like Small Uncle Marissa, like, but like what's, you know, I'm not like particularly small. I'm 5'3". And eventually I settled on Cool Uncle Marissa, and you know, obviously there's a lot more there too. Like there's the whole meme of like equating lesbians to uncles, or like the whole meme of like, I'm like, if an uncle was a girl or something like that. So all of that is kind of there too. One of my uncles, so first off, everyone always would say like, you are your uncle's niece, because they thought that we were very similar. And I think we definitely have a lot of similarities in how we carry ourselves, our sense of humor, and all of that. So I always had a fondness for him, and I always heard that like from family members of, you're your uncle's niece. So to me, like, uncle carried that weight, especially as someone who isn't really close to much of my family. And then on top of that, my uncle was the one who introduced tech into our lives. He's the one who got us our first home computer. He would bring us like USB drives, you know, everywhere from when they started out and they were just a few megabytes to like when 1 gigabyte flash drives came out, and he brought that, and it was so exciting. We were so excited. So I relate sort of tech in my home to him as well. And it wasn't video games. Ironically, it was my aunt who gave us our first console, which was a Sega Mega Drive, I think around the time that they were sort of transitioning to the next generation. So she like saw it on sale. Apparently she was super excited. It's also really hard for me to kind of use the phrase aunt as flippantly, given that my aunt has a very, very special place in my heart. We were very, very close. And when I was very little, and she passed away when I was about 3, at only 30. So, you know, I wouldn't even really want to use that if I'm thinking about it really deeply. But also, I don't know, when you think of like aunt things, you think of someone who takes care of you and nurtures you and like takes you out shopping and defends you from your mom. Like, I'm not gonna do that for you. I'm not your aunt. Yeah. So I think all of that maybe unconsciously went into it. If you would like to think of it in so much detail as these like transphobes do, where they're like, you're a cool uncle because you're trans. I think it would hurt more if they just told me I'm not cool. I'd be like, I'm gonna be blocking your channel because you're not cool. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for all of you guys' support. I don't want to make it sound like I get like inundated with these types of comments. I'm actually really pleased that I don't get a ton of negative comments, and I appreciate that. Some of you leave weird comments, but I don't know if they're offensive. So it's just makes it more focused that basically any hate comment I get is transphobic. So it's weird. Anyway, obviously it goes without saying, I love all of you guys who are here. I love my trans subscribers. I think there's just like anyone who's in like tech or retro tech or anything like in that world and is transphobic is so funny to me, because some of the most talented people in these areas are trans. Like, okay. And while I have you guys here, I was so happy with the way I scheduled my videos for February that I absolutely just forgot to thank my January Ko-fi supporters. So a huge thank you to anyone who donated in January. Thank you so much to Gerbinson, Timbalonius, Chilwatt. Thank you to Autumn, to Complex Milk, to Ryan L. And thank you last but not least to Trin Nguyen. And huge thank you to anyone who's bought anything from my shop. I've got a bunch of stickers up there right now, both merch sticker as well as stickers for your consoles and your cartridges. I also have free resources on my Ko-fi, like skins and cassette holders, and just go check it out. And anything that is a sale or a donation, etc., they all help the channel a lot. They help me get new stuff to show you. They help me take the time to actually make these things. So a huge thank you to anyone past, present, and future who has donated. Also big news is that the Discord is free for all now. So another huge thank you to everyone in the Discord who joined for early access. I feel like we've really built this fun tone, and we've built all these like channels based on people's interests, and it's just a really cool place. Yeah, I really like the vibe that we've set. So you guys are welcome to join. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget that Cool Uncle loves you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!